What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're going to be reacting to 5 innocent convicts being set free, because you know, back in the days the justice system was being taken for a joke. Let's get into the video.
In 2004, when the Honduran immigrant was accused of killing 2 women. A man who was sentenced to die literally was on death row.
So it's the case of this guy named Clemente Aguirre. And if I tell you this story, you'll say, you got to be making the up. It can't be true.
14 years, 4 months, and 19 days. I've been incarcerated.
Damn.
10 years, 3 months of them in death row.
On June 25, 2004, in Altamonte, Florida, 24-year-old Clemente was indicted on charges of first-degree murder and burglary, a crime that he did not commit.
From the start, Aguirre Harkin said he found the women dead, that he tried to help, and that's how their blood got on his clothes and his footprints.
It was a gruesome crime
arrested.
that found his neighbors, 68-year-old Carol Barris and 47-year-old Cheryl Williams, stabbed to death.
I didn't do it. I don't kill nobody.
However, despite Clemente protesting his innocence, police decided he was the only possible suspect and he was sentenced to death. In the 14 years on death row, Clemente never stopped trying to clear his name. And he wasn't wrong either.
All the evidence they had was,
as it turns out,
their blood
Samantha,
on his clothes,
Cheryl's daughter, prior to the murder, was diagnosed with intermittent explosive disorder.
Within inches of the mother's body and in a bathroom where the state argued the killer cleaned up is the daughter's blood, a trail of the daughter's blood going to the bathroom, and then the mother's blood on the outside of the daughter's window. And there's in the doctor's notes, a few years before this happened, where she says to her mother, "I'm gonna kill you if I ever get out of here. I'll kill all of you." Then we find out that she has confessed all over town. We had people coming in all over the place, testifying, affidavits that she said, "I killed my mother and my grandmother, I'll do it to you."
With such irrefutable evidence implicating Cheryl's daughter, the day finally arrived for Clemente.
I do know that nobody believed me back then. No one. Besides my mother, nobody believed me. And I thank you for it.
Damn, this video is gonna make me cry low-key.
He holds back tears and immediately heads towards friends and family to celebrate.
But today is a brighter day, a new day, and I got good hopes for the future.
I'm happy they set him free.
This is Devontae Sanford, who in 2007 was sentenced to 37 to 90 years in prison, a horrific quadruple murder that he did not commit. He was only 14 years old at the time.
14?
Devontae was walking outside his home in his pajamas when he was arrested just 3 blocks away from a vicious crime scene involving 4 people and an AK-47 assault rifle. Devontae was taken to the local police station, where it turns out that the police coerced him into a false confession with the use of leading questions and feeding him facts from the case. To make matters worse, his lawyer at the time didn't help by convincing him to enter a guilty plea.
Nah, some shit.
His current lawyer had this to say.
In the course of their targeting him, they literally fabricated evidence and committed perjury in order to ensure that this young man, that they could get a conviction.
But just 3 weeks later, there was another twist in this tale. And that twist came in the form of hitman Vincent Smothers. Smothers was arrested for 12 murders, 4 of which turned out to be the case that Sanford was convicted for. The lack of action from the justice courts got the attention of the Northwestern Center of Wrongfully Convicted Youths, who pushed to reopen the case, which led to Devontae's freedom in 2016.
It was a homecoming 9 years in the making.
Aww.
Interestingly enough, Devontae is thankful to one particular person for his freedom: Smothers.
He protected me, not the cops. The cops took advantage of me. It's because of this man. You know, I'm able to walk and breathe and just
help you conscience by a hitman.
As it turns out, all that time spent wrongfully incarcerated may have taken its toll on Sanford, who found it hard acclimatizing back into regular society.
New and serious trouble for Devontae Sanford. The 25-year-old was convicted of murder here in Detroit, then exonerated and released from prison.
He was arrested for assault in 2018,
Damn,
and this
man.
time, there was no hitman to take the heat. In 1991, Queens, New York, 19-year-old Gregory Counts and 21-year-old Van Dyke Perry were sentenced to life in prison for a crime they did not commit. The victim was held at knife point out front of her Queens.
This is one of the craziest cases ever because of what she did. Like, what happened to her was bad, but what she did was even crazier, bro.
Home, thrown into a car, and driven to Central Park, where she was then raped multiple times. She claimed that the men responsible were Counts, Perry, and a third unknown man. In 2017, after having already served 11 years, the Innocence Project reinvestigated the Counts and Perry case using DNA that was retested. DNA cleared both Counts and Perry from the semen found on the victim. It led to a man who was deceased. Weird, right? So why would the victim make up such a heinous story and send two innocent men to jail? The answer will get your blood boiling.
The complainant now admits that her boyfriend forced her to lie.
Because of her boyfriend, bro. She sent two innocent dudes, well, innocent of that crime, to jail because of her boyfriend. That is stupid.
Falsely claimed these men sexually assaulted her. Her boyfriend was trying to avoid having to pay a debt to these two men.
All that for a boyfriend avoiding debt. The things we do for money.
Facts.
Let's have a look as both Counts and Perry sit in court, hearing the sweet sound of freedom echoing throughout. They do their best to hold back their emotions.
Like, all their life is gone. Now, these dudes are old now.
Although they are free and reintegrating
prison.
back into society now, it's clear that this horrible, unjust story will haunt both these men for the rest of their lives.
It's never going to be over. The reason why, because it tormented my life and it's my past.
1993, New Jersey. 22-year-old Tito Marino was murdered in his video store, another gruesome death by stabbing. Eric Kelly and Ralph Lee were both convicted of a crime they had no connection to. The whole story was put together by police using coercion and a sketchy eyewitness. They then used those statements against Lee, and that's how they nailed their conviction. It wasn't until once again the Innocence Project got involved in their case that Eric and Ralph felt a bit of hope.
And the state has just dug in their heels ever since. They refused to investigate this other person, refused to talk to him, didn't look into his history, and instead are just, blindly clinging to this conviction at all costs.
Lee was released after 11 years. However, it wasn't until 2018, after having spent 24 years in prison, that Kelly was finally given back his freedom after new DNA evidence was presented to the judge in court.
Therefore, in light of the foregoing reasons, the motion to file a both defendants count 3 of Kelly.
Interestingly enough, we find Judge Joseph Portelli in full Karen mode.
Listen to me. It's not a moment of choice. It's a moment of justice.
Man, if you don't shut up.
Okay? It's not something to celebrate or it's not something.
What? This man just got freed.
I'm not sure about you, but freedom after 24 years of wrongful incarceration seems like a pretty good reason to celebrate. Kelly and Lee didn't let this dampen their moods. Both were hungry, high in spirits, and thankful for everyone that had played a part in their release.
Mainly, I want to eat. I'm a little hungry. Be with my legal team. I want to thank them. I want to thank my family. First and foremost, it's been a long time. I just don't know. I'm just out of words, baby. I'm just feeling good right now. That's all.
What would you want someone who didn't know anything about your case to know?
I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent man.
All's well that ends well. For now.
Right, in the case of People versus Juan Ignacio Catalan.
You know what I'm realizing? Majority of these, or not even majority, all of these were minorities. Keep that in mind.
Catalan, is that your true name?
Yes, ma'am.
This is Juan Catalan, the man saved by sitcom. An alibi caught on camera, but not in the way you think. On May 13th, 2003, 16-year-old Martha Puebla, a witness in a case of a gang slaying, was shot and killed in front of her home in Sun Valley, California. It wasn't until 3 months later that the FBI arrested 24-year-old Juan Catalan during a raid in front of his family's machine shop. Juan was interrogated for hours. It seemed like they already had a huge amount of evidence against him. A witness sketch that looks like you.
Damn.
A witness that was supposed to take the stand against your brother gets murdered in cold blood. It doesn't look good. But Juan consistently pleads his innocence, telling officers that they're trying to pin this crime on the wrong person.
You guys are gonna take away my life for this bullshit. You killed somebody. Wait a minute. Those are very strong words right there. I did not kill nobody. I would never kill nobody. I have never done anything to hurt anybody.
Basically said he was guilty before you had the trial.
It says otherwise.
As things get sticky, Juan remembered that he was at a Dodgers game with his daughter on that day. But a stadium full of tens of thousands of people, what are the chances that someone captured him there? And even more so, the chances that you'd be able to retrieve said footage. Well, this is where this case becomes wild. Juan remembered he was on TV, but not the Dodgers cam. It just so happened that Larry David, the creator of Seinfeld and star of the HBO show Curb Your Enthusiasm, was shooting an episode in the exact same aisle as Catalan and his daughter.
The episode was that I picked up a hooker in the carpool lane and took her to Dodger Stadium.
What are the chances? Juan's lawyer contacted HBO, got access to the footage of that episode, and ran the tapes. Hours of research brought no results, and he was running out of tape and felt like he wasn't going to get what he needed. And then, there it was, the once-in-a-lifetime chance of an alibi caught on tape.
And I pointed at the screen and I said, that's him, roll that back.
This footage, combined with a phone call made to his girlfriend at the exact time he was leaving the stadium, led to his case being thrown out.
That's amazing, bro.
Both detectives were found guilty of coercion and falsifying their reports.
God,
as for
fire
Juan,
them.
What can you say? Talk about being in the right place at the right time.
Facts.
From getting the tickets on the day of to being caught on camera. But what are the chances that out of 56, 58,000 seats, they're filming on my aisle?
Damn, that was crazy. Like, but I'm happy these guys are home free. They didn't do whatever they got convicted of, and you're guilty of not subscribing. So go ahead and subscribe. You're not gonna get off that easy, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.